Right, I'm back off my holidays and had a great time, and I must admit that I'm really glad that I picked the Walther LGV to take with me rather than one of the pre-charged pneumatic rifles that I've got. Purely based on the fact that I didn't know how much shooting I'd be doing, and I didn't want to have to lug an air cylinder up there. So this rifle just based purely on its simplicity, really. I've also got really attached to this gun. It's really good. It's I was a bit worried at first. Obviously, it's been a while since I had a Springer. I've got my Pro Sport, but that's more of a, well, it's a rarely shot fun gun, really, that is. It's such a nice rifle. It's a bit cosseted, really. But I bought this Springer with the idea that I was going to use it for hunting. And I was a little bit worried about hunting again with a Springer because it's been such a long time. And obviously, the knack to shooting Springers, they're a lot more difficult to shoot than a PCP in the hunting field. There's a definite knack to getting the most out of them. And I haven't shot a Springer for a long time. But now I think this gun here performed faultlessly on holiday. Went out 3 or 4 times with it and bagged 10 rabbits overall from 2 different spots that we stayed, and I've got to say, well impressed with it. Unfortunately, I've got permission on 2 farms. One of them isn't really suitable for air rifles because of the somewhat bizarre Scottish airgun law. So the rifle only went so far north with me, and then it was left at another place that I go shooting on the borders, where I've also got permission again, and obviously that's covered by the English and Welsh airgun laws, where you don't need a licence. But as an aside, I've really got used to this gun now. It's a lovely thing. It is. So anyone's thinking of buying a Springer, I've got to say, these Walthers, they're very good. It's very well made. Yes, it is a bit heavy, but all decent Springers seem to be heavy. And yes, it's a bit plain looking, but you know, it doesn't look much in the rack, but the quality of it's really good. It's so well put together, and I've got the hang of, well, I've developed my style of shooting this thing to a reasonable level of accuracy now. I mean, admittedly, I would only try and take a rabbit at 30 yards with this, whereas with one of the Steyrs, particularly off a bipod, you know, you're looking at 50 yards for a nice clean headshot with a moderate amount of ease, providing the wind's not too strong. But with this, I'd only go to 30 yards. I have no doubt that there are those who shoot Springers more often who are really good with them, could do better, but I think for me, for my capabilities, 30 yards is tops. And to be fair, you know, it wasn't as if I was lacking in shooting rabbits with it. I did quite well with it. But it's just great fun with the Springer. It's something, I don't know, it's just like being a kid again, you know. It's dead simple, a pocket full of pellets. That's it, off you go. Simple, basic air gun. And this thing's brilliant. It's so accurate, and it's very powerful and very quiet as well, considering it's not silenced, because remember, that's just a barrel weight on the end there. It's not a silencer, so it's unsilenced, but it's very quiet. So all in all, really impressed with it. It's just a beautiful thing. I mean, it's really well made. Everything about it's lovely. Metalwork, the bluing. It's just a great gun. Really nice gun. And really good hunting rifle as a Springer. I've developed a slightly different trigger technique for some reason with the Springers. I must admit. I found that with this gun, I take it to, on the trigger pull, I take it through the first stage. And then when I reach the breaking point on the second stage, with my Steyrs, I just give it a gentle squeeze to let the shot off. But I found that I'm actually more accurate with this if I actually give it a proper pull instead of a gentle squeeze. I don't know why. Maybe it's the way the trigger's set up. But for some reason, with a nice, fairly gentle hold, but actually giving the trigger a proper pull instead of a gentle squeeze, I get better groups with this Springer, and I don't know why, but I do. I did a lot of shooting with it before I went, just to make sure that it was the right rifle I wanted to take with me, and I discovered that with this particular gun and the way I shoot, I could get better groups with using it that way. And I must admit, in the field, it's proved its worth. 10 rabbits from 4 hunts. It's not to be sniffed at. Admittedly, there are an awful lot of rabbits about, but even so, a rabbit's a rabbit. This time of year, getting towards autumn. Well, autumn's coming on slightly soon. Any rabbits that are still knocking about generally tend to be a bit smart now. All the daft ones, or the unwary ones, have gone. So I was quite pleased with this. It's a cracking good gun. When you're buying, the best of it is you can buy a really top end Springer, which this is, for about, I don't know, a quarter of the price of a top end PCP. So there you go. Lovely rifle. Thanks for watching.